Let's turn our attention to that awful abortion case. Demands from many female MPs, particularly yesterday and earlier this week, for a change to the law on abortion. Women can be criminalised, can be sent to jail, as has happened this week with a 44-year-old mother of three, Carla Foster. She was sentenced to 28 months behind bars on Monday after a judge rejected pleas for leniency by the medical profession for having an abortion at almost 8 months pregnant. She used pills that were designed for use only up to 10 weeks present during one of the lockdown periods in 2020 to abort her unborn child. Well, those laws that criminalise women having an abortion beyond the 24-week term, legal term, they were in place since Victorian days. So should they be changed? Well, let's talk to Janey Starling, who's co-director of We Level Up. They're a feminist community campaign group. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. I mean, this whole story is awful. It's awful for the child that died. It's awful for the family. It's awful for the woman who's been incarcerated. But at the end of the day, this woman knowingly, deliberately killed her unborn child. Many of us would use the term murdered her unborn child. She didn't need to do that. We know from her Google searches, what the judge had heard in court, that she knew what she was doing was wrong. She knew that it was against the law. Does the law need to be changed?
So abortion is healthcare. You know, 1 in 3 women have had an abortion in their lifetimes. If you haven't had one yourself, someone you love has had an abortion. And it's time that the law treats it as healthcare. You know, as you've said, a woman has been sent to prison, a mother of 3 has been sent to prison on the basis of a Victorian law from 1861 that urgently needs to be removed from our law books, because if we don't decriminalise abortion in the UK, this won't be the last case that we see. And I think if we look at what laws were around in 1861, this was 77 years before the NHS. This was before the women had the right to vote.
No, I understand. Look, it's a very old law, but the thing is, this is the thing I find difficult. I defend the right to abortion. I'm appalled by what's going on in America. Women lose the right to abortion, but abortion isn't just healthcare. As someone who's had a child and as someone who lost 4 babies to miscarriage, I know what a 12-week-old baby looks like in the womb, and I definitely know what a 33-week baby unborn in the womb looks like, and it's a baby. At 12 weeks, it's a baby. We accept abortion as, in many cases, most of us, the country at large, and most of Europe has accepted, and most of the Western world, that abortion is often the least worst thing. It's never a good thing. It's the least worst thing in a scenario where an accidental pregnancy has happened, a woman just feels unable to have a baby, even for financial reasons, and I accept that right. However, there comes a point during that pregnancy where the woman's sort of absolute right that starts being weighed up against the child's right to life. If you're saying it's just healthcare, say you know, a week before my baby was due, would it have been okay for me to have aborted, to have killed my now 16-year-old daughter because, it's just healthcare? Would that be acceptable to you, or would you not think that was a crime?
Conversations, it's interesting, conversations on abortion really bring out, obviously, very emotional and personal responses.
Well, it's the life of a baby, so yes, it is emotional.
It's hugely emotional, and I'm glad we're having this conversation.
So could you answer my question?
Regulation of abortion should be left to healthcare and not criminal law. That is fundamentally my position, and that is far
I understand that's your position. I understand that. I'm not sure I want this woman to be in prison. I'm not sure that's the solution to the question. But should it not be against the law to kill a baby at, say, 6, 7, 8 months gestation when they are completely viable and those babies would live on to a happy, healthy life? Where if I didn't want the baby, I could abort the child. I could have had an earlier termination. Are you saying you don't think it should be a criminal act when I was 8 months pregnant for me to abort my child?
So abortion is healthcare, and it's time for...
No, Janey, don't just repeat the same thing. Answer the question, because it's a specific question. Answer the question I've asked you.
So I think that I just believe there's far too much fixation.
No, Janey, I don't know who else that you've been interviewed by who accepts this. You've got a considered view. You campaign on this issue. Answer the question. I'm 8 months pregnant. I've decided I've changed my mind. I don't want to have my baby. My baby is perfectly viable. It's kicking, moving inside me. Do I have the right, because it's just healthcare, to abort my baby and face no criminal repercussions? Yes or no?
Yes, and you should not face criminal repercussions. This is a decision for you, and it's for medical experts
and it's for
nurses.
Sod the baby.
I think in Carla Foster's case, we should be talking about her 3 children, her 3 born children, who the judges has decided to separate her from for a prison term. That's
well, most men who go to prison have
them.
got kids too. Look, I don't think it's ideal. I don't think it's the right decision. I think it's a desperate situation. There's lots of personal aspects here. But this is being extrapolated by groups like yours and people like you saying it shouldn't be criminal act because it's just healthcare. I don't think that my 8-month-old baby in my womb was just a matter of healthcare. She was already a viable future human being. Do you not think there's any point? I mean, what about the day before she was due? What about 5 minutes before I go into labour? Is that acceptable for me to go, I've changed my mind, could someone kill my baby for me, please?
It's a personal decision, and it's a personal healthcare decision, and it should not be criminalised. That's fundamentally my position, and we clearly disagree, but I do not believe that our pregnancies should be policed by criminal law.
I understand a woman's right to choose her own body. I really do, up to a certain point. And then there comes a point when the baby also accrues rights. I find that genuinely terrifying. And I'm going to say to you, Janey, that I think that once you've had a child, I've got a funny feeling you may feel differently about that. Benedict Spence, you're looking at absolute horror at that.
Well, I think we have very, actually, reasonable laws around abortion in this country. And she broke those laws. She killed a baby. She should be in prison. Okay. Most people agree on that, I think.
They do. Benedict Spence, thank you very much. I'm still in shock about what Janey said. Coming up next, back to Nottingham. This is Talk Breakfast.